For a year now, we've roamed with our headphones on, listening to each other's voices as if following instructions in an augmented reality game. We've climbed mountains of grief, won battles in the icy valley between death and birth, all in search of secret gardens where seeds of hope may take root. Over this past year, our paths crossed and our eyes met, both of us immersed in our headphones. We've come to appreciate the power of being heard without the need for a response. We smiled at each other and took steps forward, sometimes in opposite directions, sometimes in separate geographies. We reminded ourselves that we're not walking alone. In our most recent encounter, we looked beyond the starting line without the urge to run or to know how much more there is to be lived, to be had. Without the idea of an end, we embraced a cyclical understanding of existence, finding solace in death, uncovering tranquility in transitions, leaving traces of ourselves in every place we tread, connecting to the different versions of our character in this unfolding story. The last time we met, we were on a quest for a place to dwell. We sought it in the moments of life and death, even in the eyes of a mouse cornered by a cat in the kitchen. A daring mouse looking at its attacker in the eye, and we thought, this mouse has earned its right to live. We chased the cat away, sparing the mouse's life. You said, try this as an exercise, as meditation. Take a walk anywhere in nature. Simply try to walk without killing anything. Any ants, bugs, plants, or any of the microscopic living organisms under your feet, try to live without causing harm, to find freedom without constricting the freedom of others. You said, the more I understand myself, the more I see myself in you. You said, I am at the back seat of the car with my family, 2 children and my husband, my parents in the front seats, driving the car. I feel carried again like a child, but this time my whole family is with me. We stop to eat chickpeas from local sellers by the roadside. We re-perform the ritual. We go to the sea, take a walk by the beach. I look at my daughter. She's asking me to run after her. This marks the first time that I can run after giving birth. I allow myself to run under the scrutinizing eyes of strangers. I give permission to myself because of the child in front of me. Without her, people's stare would come with judgment. What stories can I tell her? How do I rewrite the tale of the princess and the pea? What does it mean to be more sensitive, to feel resonance? How can I adapt to that? You said, this morning I caught myself greeting a butterfly. I felt truly present, as though life had started anew. There is room for growth, and that gives comfort. I watched my daughter grow into a woman. How do I prepare her for the attention that she will inevitably attract? I vividly recall my own experiences as a young woman crossing the street and receiving an unwelcome slap on the bum. I don't want that for her. You said habits and how they shape our bodies. When I was younger, I wanted to study physiotherapy. It started with my mom. She was always tense with stiffness in her shoulders, and a good massage would relieve her and earn me the badge of the good son. I did not pursue it professionally, but I cultivated a sense of care, love, and respect for the human body. My mother planted that seed. Then I remember the bus ride to school, how I always used to sit in that seat next to the driver, and how I used to chat and make jokes with him, and how one day, as we were driving by a girl who was walking next to the street, the bus driver lowered the window from my side and asked me to smack that girl's backside. He told me to go for it, to not be shy, and all the boys gathered behind me and started chanting, "Do it, do it." Much to my classmates' and the bus driver's disappointment, I didn't. But I could have. Now I'm looking at my son, thinking, how do I prepare him for such moments? When is the right moment to make him aware of the world's cruelty? I want my kids to grow up freely, yet be mindful of how their actions affect others. You said, Only now I realize how much I love my sister. You said, I woke up this morning and everything felt so loud. I was at rehearsals for a play and the stage manager was yelling. I had a class later, there were fights. I went out to take a walk, honking cars and shouting people everywhere. Leaving the city is not an option for me, not without a community. But today I yearn to leave my own body. Why is everything so unbearably loud? Missed opportunities. Existential grief for leaving nature behind. But what is it about the city that makes me fear leaving it? I said, there is no missed opportunities, only the right time. You said, tell that to a single mother of 2 children with special support needs. If anything, this year of walking and listening together has brought to the surface an urge and a deep longing for a physical space where we can meet and practice these ways of listening and engaging with each other. To find our way to that place, we took bold steps and posed audacious questions. We asked women how we can be less patriarchal, inquired those affected by colonization on how to be more decolonial, and consulted plants on how to be more ecological. In one voice, they all replied, through communal cooperative practices by growing stuff together. 2 years ago, I joined a cooperative, a collective of artists and activists aiming to create a shared living and working space. Almost immediately, we ran into differences. We could not agree on the definitions of artist, activist, or cooperative. The group called for a manifesto, a clear, concrete document that could define our shared values and provide reference when disagreements cropped up. But the work of the manifesto lagged behind. There were always more pressing matters to discuss or take care of. There were building costs to pay and permits to issue and funding applications to submit, and the task of writing a manifesto kept getting postponed. Over time, the disagreements deepened, delving into matters of morality and ethics. Now the need for a guiding reference became more evident. Numerous meetings followed, but little progress was made. Months passed, disagreements escalated into conflicts, fractions emerged, mediators were called upon, claims were made from all sides, and still, no set of values that we could hold as common reference, no manifesto. Disheartened and frustrated, I turned to artificial intelligence and decided to ask ChatGPT. Over the following weeks, I crafted a detailed input using content gathered from the group, our ideas, values, and what we believe the space should represent. I included an extensive list of books, articles, and other references that members had contributed as their ideological influences. I asked ChatGPT to analyze this content thoroughly, identify core values, and link them to the daily practices of the cooperative so that the terms in the manifesto would carry real meaning. I was aware of the likely futility of the experiment, knowing that ChatGPT could offer no insight beyond what we already knew, that it might come back with some list of platitudes about love and unity. Nevertheless, I wrote it and I sent it. And you know how sometimes it takes a second before the response appears on screen? But 10 seconds passed with no reply. That's unusual, I thought. 30 seconds passed. I checked my Wi-Fi connection. 1 minute. 2 whole minutes later, it responded, "Thank you for providing such a detailed prompt. I will do my best to compile a document that reflects the values and principles of the cooperative based on the information and sources you have provided. I will also aim to provide concrete interpretations of these terms based on the sourced references from the members' contributions. Please give me some time to compile the document for you." I asked, "How long do you think it will take?" And it said, "Given the length and complexity of the prompt, it may take me a couple of hours." So I waited. I sent the prompt in May. It is now October, and ChatGPT has still not provided an answer. Even if it did, it would make little difference as I am no longer a member of that cooperative. back in this hyper individualistic, ultra capitalist city, fending for myself, well aware that there are many of us in similar positions, and perhaps that cooperative was not the answer, and maybe another one could be. But whether alone or in community, a new season is ahead, and I must keep walking, following the circle of dancing on the edge around the sun for the past year, first walking with grief, then between death and birth, later listening to seeds, and now on the quest for a place to dwell. I've journeyed all the way back to the starting point. I return to try a different path, to assign new meaning, to find hope even in its fleeting nature, even if it exists only to be lost, so that I may start anew and try another way, assign a different meaning. So I walk with my headphones on in this augmented reality game. Occasionally our eyes meet. You're also wearing your headphones. Maybe we've tuned into the same podcast. Maybe we are sharing the same thoughts and ideas. Maybe we can look at the world through the same lens for a brief moment. No? That's okay. Then we keep walking and remind ourselves that we're not walking alone.